Hello and good morning. Thank you so much for joining me today for today's yoga class. This is Sammy. She's my 4-month-old puppy, and I'm going to see if maybe she's going to sit nicely and allow us to do this without having to put her in her kennel. Okay, Sammy, can you come lay down? Can you lay down right there for Mama? All right, lay down. Okay, all right. Let's start by warming up our neck and shoulders. Come to a tall seat, reaching the crown of the head towards the sky. Lightly closing your eyes if you're comfortable, and gently resting the palms of your hands on your knees. Let's bring our attention to the breath. And begin taking long, slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Feeling our energy begin to calm and settle. Just checking in with your body and noticing any areas where you may be holding on to some tension this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening. And imagine the breath traveling to these areas of tension, wrapping them up. And on the exhale, release. As we move throughout our practice, we want to begin focusing on our breath, connecting breath to movement. Breathing long, slow, deep breaths in and out the nose. And maybe engaging Ujjayi breath. Lightly closing your lips together. Long, slow, deep belly breath in and out the nose. And taking a slight restriction to the back of the throat, causing the breath to become audible, ocean-like. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Let's take a tent of our fingertips on either side of the body. We're reaching out and just lightly resting the fingertips on the mat. And let's take our gaze to the right and back to center. Slowly and gently to the left, back to center. To the right once again. And center. And left. And center. Let's take the right ear to the right shoulder, reaching up with the right hand, just gently placing the hand on the side of the head and gently, gently stretching. Releasing the hand, fingers back to the mat, left ear, left shoulder. reaching up with the left hand and gently further stretch and release. Let's take a slight jut of the chin forward and bring it down to the chest. And slowly and carefully bringing the chin up and all the way back, all the way up. Taking the gaze up to the ceiling. Feeling the chest and the throat opening. Excuse me. And coming back to neutral. Let's reach up with the hands and take a seated twist. Left hand, right knee. Reaching back with the right hand, sitting up nice and tall through the spine. Taking a nice twist and gazing over your right shoulder. And releasing head, neck, and shoulders. Coming back up, left hand, right hand, left knee. Nice and tall and taking that twist. And releasing head, neck, and shoulders. And coming back. Okay, let's take our hands behind us and clasp for a chest expansion. There you go, Sammy. Okay, so I've got my palms coming together, pressing the palms towards the earth, opening up through the chest, reaching up with the chin, and then slowly hinging forward at the hips. I'm going to slowly take a forward bend, nice straight back, coming forward as far as possible in your body. And bringing the chest expansion up, feeling that stretch through the shoulders. Whatever works for you in your body here this morning, this afternoon, this evening. And slowly rising back up. All right. So now we're going to take the soles of our feet to touch in butterfly pose. Oh, I was out the side this morning with bare feet. Sitting up nice and tall through the spine, feeling just bringing your feet in to wherever is comfortable distance away from your body. She goes crazy with that teddy bear. All right. And so while we have our feet here, let's just kind of open up our feet and kind of just take a massage of the bottoms of our feet here, maybe massaging each toe. Just take a little time. Give your body some love here. All right, then grasping your hands around your toes. You can just kind of see what feels good here for you and hinging forward, maybe pressing your elbows into your feet to widen that stretch. Nice, straight, flat back, just coming forward. Whatever's feeling good for you here, just as far as your body will take you today. And when you've gone as far as you can, just releasing the head and neck and shoulders so that they hang nice and relaxed. Maybe taking a shaking the head loose a little bit, make sure there's no tension holding there. Long, slow, deep breaths in and out the nose. And slowly rising back up. We're going to take our legs wide. And your legs out nice and wide. And we'll just do a wide leg forward fold. So just reaching up, hinging forward at the hips, just as far as is comfortable in your body. And bringing the hands, palms, forearms down just as far as works for you. The area in my body have the least amount of flexibility. And slowly and carefully coming back up to a seat. All right, so now we can start warming up our spine. So we'll come into tabletop and start working on some cat and cow movements. So taking and stacking our shoulders directly over our wrists, stacking the knees directly beneath the hips, spreading our fingers out nice and wide on the mat. And let's drop the belly towards the mat, starting with the tailbone, pressing up through the shoulders, reaching forward with the chin. And rounding, beginning with the tailbone, rounding through the spine, pressing up, feeling the stretch through the shoulders, allowing the head to dangle. And releasing, dropping the belly towards the mat. And take a few more rounds of cat-cow here at your own pace of breath. And coming back to a neutral spine, let's just walk our hands out to the right and just feeling a nice stretch, popping the hips out to the left, feeling a nice stretch through the left side body. And walking the hands back to center, let's go off to the left side, popping the hips off to the right, pressing through the right hand and feeling that stretch through the side body there. Lie down. And coming back to center. Okay, so now we're going to take our right foot up and we're going to reach the toes back and placing the toes just gently on the mat. Just press back through the heel, feeling that stretch along the back of the calf, just pressing through the hands. Lay down. Little movement here that feels good. And release back to tabletop. We'll do that with the left foot. Pressing back through the toes. Pressing the heel towards the floor. Feeling a nice stretch there. Don't overdo it. You don't want to pulse. You just want to take a nice slow stretch. Pressing through all 10 fingers. And release back to tabletop. Now let's take our big toes to touch and bring our knees out nice and wide and set back for extended child's pose. Setting back onto the mat and walking the hands out forward, really feeling the stretch through the shoulders, opening up the hips. Bring your knees out as wide as it's comfortable for you. And bringing the belly to the mat, the chest to the mat, and ultimately the forehead to the mat. See. Okay. All right. Now we're going to rest. So hopefully you're still in your child's pose. I apologize. We're going to thread the needle on either side. So staying in child's pose, just slightly reaching up and reaching the right arm beneath the left and resting the right shoulder on the mat and resting the right cheek on the mat. And pressing up through the right hand, bringing the right arm out. Sorry, I apologize. Out on the mat and reaching the right arm beneath the left. Okay. Excuse me while you're in child's pose. To be quiet. To be quiet. Okay, so spreading your hands out wide and coming up into a downward facing dog. Our first downward facing dog. Take a few moments here to pedal out the feet. Feel what's really feels good in your body here this morning. Pressing through all 10 fingers. Pressing with the intention of bringing the heels to the floor ultimately. Whatever works in your body today. And slowly gazing towards the front of the mat. We're going to walk towards the front of the mat, come into ragdoll pose. So we're not coming up fully. We're going to bend our knees, a nice generous bend, and resting the torso on the thighs. Feet are hip distance apart. We can grasp opposite elbows. And gently just rocking back and forth, maybe bending and straightening one knee and then the other. And then let's take our hands and let's just clasp our hands together like this. And if this is comfortable in your neck and you don't have any injuries, just placing your hands not on the neck, just at the base of your skull. Just allowing your elbows to drop naturally towards the floor. This just elongates the neck, gives us a little extra space. And release the hands back to the mat, coming into a forward fold. And coming up to a halfway lift. Reaching the crown of the head towards the front of you. And coming down to a forward fold. And coming back up to a halfway lift. And coming down once again to a forward fold. And slowly and carefully rising up one vertebrae at a time. Coming all the way up to Tall Mountain. It's like I never left. And let's cactus our arms, gazing up towards the sky. And once again, reaching the arms up high. Let's take a bend to the left palms together. And back to center, keeping shoulders away from the ears. And coming to the left. And back to center. Once again, cactusing our arms. Gazing up towards the sky. And reaching the arms up once again. Now let's bring our arms down. And once again, chest expansion. Clasping our hands together. Pressing the palms of the hands towards the earth. Keeping our arms together in a chest expansion. Opening the chest. Slowly hinging forward at the hips. Coming into a forward fold with chest expansion. Slight bend in the knees. And releasing the hands and coming down to the mat for a forward fold. And coming up to a halfway lift, reaching the crown of the head towards the front of you. Nice elongated neck, nice flat back. And coming down once again to a halfway lift. Now let's plant the hands on the mat, step back to high plank, and slowly lowering down all the way down to the mat, coming down onto your belly. Tops of the feet come to the mat, and we're going to do 3 cobras. We're going to start with a low cobra, so bringing your hands towards the front of the mat, gazing down towards the mat and slowly lifting up, pressing through the hands and just reaching up, getting the rib cage off the mat. And release. And bringing our hands back one step, even with the chest. It's pressing up and bringing the chest off the floor. Let's keep our shoulders away from our ears and our elbows in close to the body. And release. And we'll bring them back one more time. This is high cobra, almost straight legs, bringing the tops of our thighs, almost straight arms, I meant. Almost bringing the tops of the thighs up off the mat. Try not to lock the elbows, but bringing them close to straight. And release. Back down to the mat. Tucking all 10 toes and pressing up, coming once again into a downward facing dog. All right. Now from here, we're going to take our right leg high. We're going to open our hip. Bend that knee. And take a couple turns of the ankle in one direction. A couple turns of the ankle in the other direction. Maybe gaze underneath your armpit here and see if you can take a look at that foot. And straighten the leg. Square the hips. And bringing that foot back down to the mat. Switching legs. Bringing the left leg high. Straightening the leg. Opening the hips. Taking a bend to the leg. Maybe gazing beneath your right shoulder. Taking a few turns of the ankle in one direction. And the opposite direction. And straightening the leg, squaring the hips, and bringing the foot back down to the mat. Let's gaze between our hands and step, walk, or float to the front of the mat. And rising up. Tall mountain. Palms together. Palms to chest. Now we'll do 3 rounds of a simple sun salutation. Reaching up, tall mountain. Coming forward to a halfway lift, to a forward fold. Apologize. And coming up to a halfway lift. And back down to a forward fold, planting the hands, stepping back, high plank. And slowly lowering down the mat, chaturanga if it's in your practice, or lowering down and up to a cobra or an upward dog. And downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths here. And step, walk, or float to the front of the mat, rising up to tall mountain, and coming down to a forward fold. Coming up to a halfway lift, coming down to a forward fold, planting the hands, stepping back, plank, lowering down, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. And step, walk, or float to the front of the mat, and rising up again once more. And coming down into a halfway forward fold. Rising up to a halfway lift. Down to a forward fold, planting the hands, stepping back. High plank. Lowering down, chaturanga, or upward facing dog, or cobra. Downward facing dog. And gazing towards your hands, step, walk, or float back to the front of the mat, and rising up once again. Tall mountain. Okay. So we're going to come back down, stepping back once again. We're going to actually come into tabletop, and we're going to take our right leg, bring it up, and we're going to bring our right knee behind our right hand, placing it on the mat, and taking our right ankle and bringing it towards our left wrist, coming somewhat parallel with our front leg, and then coming straight back with that left leg. We're going to press back. We're going to look back at our left leg and make sure that we are coming out directly from the hip socket in one nice line. We're doing half pigeon here. So the goal is to bring this leg down. If you have a blanket or a block and you'd like to put something beneath your right hip, that can help support. Now, any position of this right foot is going to be the right position for your body. So whatever feels good for you. So once you have the position that feels really good, nice opening of the left hip, we're going to press our hands into the mat and take a slight bend back. So we're going to looking forward and slowly slight back bend. Now we're going to walk our hands forward and coming down just as far as what's comfortable in your body, maybe coming down to your elbows, maybe stacking your arms and bringing your forehead down just as far as is comfortable in your body. Maybe even just staying elevated works for you. Whatever works for you today. And taking one more breath here. By pressing the arms and the palms into the mat, slowly rising up, coming up onto the toes of your left foot and bringing the right foot back to meet the left. Let's press up into downward facing dog and just pedal out the legs there a little bit. Now we'll take the left leg high and we'll do pigeon on the left side. So we're going to bring our right knee behind, or our left knee behind our left hand and bring our left ankle behind our right hand. And once again, taking a gaze back to our right leg behind us and just keeping that alignment. Making any adjustments that you need to make. And taking a slight bend back. And slowly walking your hands forward, coming down maybe onto your forearms, maybe stacking your arms. And if you can, bringing the forehead down. And slowly rising up, coming up onto the right toes and bringing the right feet back. And now let's come forward, crossing the ankles, coming down to a seat. We'll slowly lower down to our backs. You can roll the shoulders down away from the ears, keeping the back flat on the mat. Let's bring the knees up to a 90-degree angle and bringing our arms out to a T. Let's take a supine twist over to the right. Maybe take your right hand and gently rest it on the outside of your left knee. And taking your gaze off to the left, over your left fingers. And releasing the right arm out long, bringing the knees back to center and dropping them off to the left. Left hand to the outside of the right knee and taking the gaze over your right fingers. And releasing and bringing the knees back to center. And feeling the entire length of the spine grounded nice and firmly on the mat. Just bring the knees up, open up for happy baby. Grasping onto the ankles, outsides of the foot, insides of the foot, or taking the feet piece fingers and wrapping them around your big toes. And let's slowly and gently, keeping the spine against the mat, just gently rocking back and forth. Little massage. And releasing the toes. And let's come into our final resting pose, Savasana. Bringing your legs out nice and long, allowing your feet to fall open naturally. And bringing your hands, arms a nice comfortable distance away from the body. Hands down for grounding, up for extra energy. And releasing any control that we have over our breathing. And just allowing our body to return to a normal breathing pace. Once again, checking in with the body. Taking a body scan and noticing any areas of tension you may be holding. And on the exhale, releasing that tension. as it is so important. I invite you to continue your Savasana for just as long as possible. Maybe even pause this video and press play once again when you're ready to move on. And when you're ready, begin wiggling your fingers and wiggling your toes and gently bringing the awareness back to the body. And when you're ready, slowly rolling onto your side and using your arm as a pillow. And taking a moment to appreciate your body, appreciate the practice, and feel what really feels good in your body and in your mind at this moment. And realizing that this is a gift that you've given yourself, and to allow yourself to feel some gratitude for taking this time. In this crazy world, it's not always easy. So take a little time to appreciate yourself for giving yourself this gift. And when you're ready, slowly coming back to a seat. Sitting up nice and tall. And if you're still with me through all of the technical difficulties and puppies, at this point, I appreciate you very much. As you move throughout your day, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, and peace in your heart. From my heart to yours. Namaste.